Hi, 5th grade. So today I'm going to teach you about perspective. So perspective is just drawing so that it looks like things are getting smaller as they move away from you. We are going to do kind of a city landscape type thing. If you do not have a ruler, you're going to need a straight edge of something. So a good straight edge that I know of that you all should have is your planner. So you all have this planner. Right here is a lovely straight edge that would work great. Or, here's another one, the back page. Either of those would work great if you do not happen to have a ruler. I do currently have a ruler, so I'm going to use my ruler because this is how I would normally teach you if we were in class. So, first thing you're going to do, you're going to measure the height of your paper. Now, I am using a piece of paper from our art kit. So I am going to have possibly a little bit different dimensions than what you have. If you are using a piece of printer paper or a piece of notebook paper, your numbers will be different. If you have a piece of art paper that I gave you in your art kit, you're great. You're going to know that your paper is 9 inches tall. Half of 9 is 4.5, so we're going to find the 4. We're going to find the next big mark, and we're going to make a little line. Then I'm going to go to the other edge of my paper. I'm going to do the same thing and line my ruler up at the top, up at the bottom, and I'm going to find the 4, go down to the next big mark, which is the half, and I'm going to make another mark. Then I'm going to line those up and with my ruler and draw a straight line across my paper. Now, if you do not have a ruler, fold your paper in half and then use your straight edge of your planner to find that line so that it's nice and straight for you. If you have a ruler, use it. Use it. Use the inches side though, not the centimeters. Okay, I'm going to now take my ruler and I'm going to measure my line. Now my paper is 12 inches long, so 12 inches is the length of my line. Half of 12 is 6. So right here at 6, I'm going to make a dot. Now, if you don't have a ruler, fold your paper in half. Fold it in half, make a light crease, and you will find your middle. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to draw a line across my paper through that dot. So I'm going to connect corner to corner through that dot. I'm going to do this lightly because I will be erasing a lot of this line. Now, if you do not have your ruler, fold your paper. You can fold corner to corner, just like I drew that line, and then you can use your planner to draw the straight lines. Then you're going to go the other side. Line up corner to corner, draw those lines lightly, and we are good to go. Now, we're going to draw some buildings on this side. We're going to draw some trees on this side. We're going to start with the buildings first, because they're harder. I'm not going to lie. They're a little harder. Everything we're going to do today, you're going to want to take to this dot. So I'm going to make my dot just a little bit more noticeable. So everything we do today is going to go to this dot. So I'm going to start first by drawing a second line that goes from the left side of my paper to my dot. I'm going to make it up a little bit from the corner. So I'm going to line my ruler up with the edge, and I'm just going to make sure that it's nice and straight. If, again, you do not have a ruler, use the edge of your notebook. Use the edge of your planner. We're next going to draw a couple vertical lines to make our building tall. When you do these vertical lines, can you still use your planner? Yeah, line up the bottom with your bottom of your paper. That will make it so it's vertical. If you have a ruler, line the bottom of your ruler up with your paper. That's how we make them vertical. So that's all I'm doing down here at the bottom is I'm lining up my ruler to make sure that it is vertical. I'm coming in a little bit because I don't want my building right off at the edge. So I'm going to come in a little bit. And I'm not going to start on this first line. I'm going to start on this second line. And I'm going to come up into this space up here above what we call the horizon line. So this is the horizon line. Horizon line is just where land meets sky. this thing in the center, we call a vanishing point. I'm going to draw a little bit further over because this is going to be the side of my building. So I'm just going to go a little further over. And then this is going to be where the front of my building is. So I'm going to make the front of my building a little bit bigger. Again, I am lining the ruler up with the bottom of my paper. I am starting on that second line that I drew, and I am just drawing up. Okay, so this is going to be the front of my building, this is going to be the side of my building. To finish up the front, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line it up with my vanishing point. I'm going to line it up with the first line because it's shorter, I think. Hang on, I got erasers in the way. So I'm going to line it up with the first line, and I'm going to connect that first line that I have, that I run into, with the second line that I run into. Just like that. So I connected the line closest to my vanishing point to the next line over. I'm now going to take from that same spot I was just at, this spot right here, and I'm going to draw a line straight out. So I'm going to draw a straight horizontal line. If you have a ruler, line your ruler up with the edge of your paper. That way you can make sure you are getting a horizontal line and it doesn't go all wiggly. If you don't have a ruler, make sure you are lining it up with your planner edge. Okay, so now I have some stuff I need to erase. I need to erase this line here and this line here, and I need to erase these two little lines here. Okay, so I'm going to erase, 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 and erase. Draw that vertical in, draw that vertical in. Now, it looks kind of silly down here at the bottom. So what I need to do is I'm going to draw another line just like this one down here. So I'm going to start at this point, and I'm going to go to this line going straight across. Again, I'm going to use my ruler. I'm going to line things up. My ruler is see-through, so I can see right through and line things up as I need to and draw them. If yours is not, that's okay. You can still be using the edge of your paper. Now, I don't need this line anymore, and I don't need this little vertical right here anymore. So I'm going to take my eraser, and I'm going to erase those away. And there I have my building. We're going to draw one more building right here. We're actually going to draw it as if it's behind this one. So we don't need to worry about both of these lines. We only need to worry about one of them. So I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to line it up with the bottom of my paper. I'm going to come over a little bit from this line because I want to make it look like it's got some depth to it. So I'm going to draw my line. So that is the equivalent of this line right here. Then I'm going to draw a line that's closer to my vanishing point. And notice I'm lining up my paper at the bottom with my ruler, making sure they're nice and vertical. I'm going to draw that line. Now we're going to draw the top of our store first. So I'm going to line my ruler up with my vanishing points and the top of my first line. So my second line is taller, that's fine, we'll just erase that part. So I'm going to connect those two lines. I'm not going to move my ruler too much right now because I just need to turn it so that I can make that line go straight across, horizontal. Then I'm going to scoot my ruler down just a little bit, keeping it still horizontal. And I'm going to draw in that bottom part right here. And now I'm going to do some erasing. So again, I can erase the two lines inside my building. I can erase this little part of that triangle right here, and I can erase this little part right here. So, I'm going to erase those. Okay. Now we are going to do the doors and the sign. I'm going to do both at once because it will be easier for you. So I'm going to take my vanishing point. I'm going to line my ruler up with my vanishing point. Top and bottom of my sign for both buildings is going to be lined up with our vanishing point. So I'm going to do top of my one building, top of my second building. Then I'm going to move it down a little. I'm going to do bottom of my sign, bottom of my sign. Now, don't pick up your ruler yet. We still need to do the top of our door. So, moving it down just a little bit more. I'm going to do the top of my door, the top of my door. Now, I'm going to line my ruler up with the bottom of my paper so that I can make sure the next set of lines is vertical. So, lining my paper up, going to connect the top and bottom of my sign. So, I don't quite want to use it all the way over here, so I'm going to shut it off right there, drawing a vertical. I'm going to slide my paper because my ruler is tucked underneath my computer, and I'm going to do my vertical right here. Then I'm going to keep sliding over because I want to finish off that second sign first before I go back and do the doors. So I'm going to finish off that second sign with a vertical. I'm going to keep sliding over. There we have our signs for our building. Our two buildings, actually. Now I'm going to erase my overdraw because you guys know I do that all the time. Next, we're going to draw our door. Now, some of you may be wondering why we didn't draw a bottom line like we did up here. Because we already did. We have that line, so we don't need that. All we need to do are draw the verticals to make it the outside of the door. So I'm going to take and line my paper up with the bottom of my ruler. And I'm going to, hang on, my paper doesn't want to line up. There we go. I'm going to draw my line down. I'm going to move my paper because my ruler, like I said, is tucked underneath my computer. Draw my vertical. And I'm going to go to the second one, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure my ruler is lined up with the bottom of my paper. I'm going to draw vertical and another vertical. Oops, I got ruler wiggle. Be careful you don't do that. Make sure you're holding onto your ruler, otherwise you get ruler wiggle. Ruler wiggle doesn't work very well. Messes up your drawing, especially when you're doing perspective drawing. Okay, now if I want to divide this door in half so that it looks like there's two doors, all I'm going to do, slide my ruler over, and I'm going to eyeball kind of where I want my door to be divided in the middle. Because as it goes further away from you, if you divide it exactly in the middle, it's going to look silly. Because it won't look right. So, there's my door divided in the middle. If I wanted to, I could draw little handles. I'm going to draw my handles horizontally. Well, so they look horizontal like they're the bar ones. So that means I need to line it up with my vanishing point. Because if I just do two rectangles going that way, it's going to look silly. So I'm going to line up with my vanishing point. And I'm going to draw a horizontal line going across and horizontal line going across. And there I have doors. For this one, let's go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to line it up and divide it in half. So there's my doors. And if I wanted to do the same type of door, I just line my ruler up with my vanishing point, with my dot, and I draw those lines. Okay, now, you want to write your store names on here? You can. Here's store 1. Here's store 2. That's my store names. I know, super creative, right? Next, we're going to draw 3 trees on the other side. So we're going to start out real easy with the first one because it's closest to us. So if it's closest to us, it's going to be like this one, and it's going to be the bigger one of our 3. Or the biggest one of our 3, I should say. So we want to come up off this line because we're actually going to turn this into a sidewalk. So come up off that line, and you're going to draw me 3, we'll start out with 2. We'll start out with a curve and a curve. And make sure you keep them away from that line. Otherwise your tree roots are going to grow into your sidewalk. Then we're going to draw a little line that comes out and off of that one. So from this second big line that we drew, draw it back to that. This one, we're going to draw kind of an angle, triangle looking thing. Then we're going to draw a little bit of a curve that comes out over here. And then this one we can run into our tree. Now, tree toppers. We have this one and this one, so why don't we just go ahead and turn it into a giant Y. And then we can add a little bit of a tree topper to there. And then comes the fun part, because this is kind of the cloud stuff. So, draw your tree top. Draw your tree pieces. It's okay if they kind of look like broccoli. Mine are starting to look kind of like broccoli. Okay. Now, do I need this line? No. Do I need this line? No. Do I need this line going through here? No. Can you erase this one too, because this one is beyond what I need. Actually, you know what? Let's shrink those down a little so that they look a little bit more perspective correct. So let's go ahead and erase this, and we're going to shrink this down just a little. We'll move this part of our branch down a little bit more. It'll just look better when we're done. It won't look so silly. So this one, go ahead and move it underneath that line. It's starting to look like a flower. This one can go a little bit over, but don't go too much over that line. And now we can erase this line in here, because we can't see our horizon line through our trees, and we can erase this part up to here. Don't erase all of it, because we're going to need the rest of it in a minute. Okay. Yeah, I'm erasing my overdraws. Makes it easier for me to see when it comes time to do anything else. Okay, if you want to add some more details to your tree, you can add some vertical lines that are kind of broken to make it look like tree bark. If you want to make it look like there's one of those spots where branch got pulled off or broken off, you can do that. Kind of draw some lines. We'll talk about grass in just a minute after we've drawn 2 more trees. Okay, so our next tree, we want to keep it off the bottom line again, because we're going to turn that into a sidewalk. If we get it down close to it, that means our tree is going into our sidewalk, and that doesn't look right. So again, we're going to start out with the 2 curvy lines. You can make that kind of L-shaped line again. We'll take that second curvy line we did, run it back up. The L-shaped one, let's kind of run it over, and we'll bring this one down a little bit more and run them together. And then we'll draw a little one back here and run it in. Okay, for this one, same type of thing. We're going to keep our top of our tree beneath this line right here. It's going to help us make it look like it's going further back without making a whole lot more work. Now, this tree goes behind this one, so drawing it like that, totally okay. I'm going to add some more back here, go for it. This one, I'm just going to erase the 2 lines in between, or inside my tree, I should say. I can erase this top part right in here that I don't need anymore. And I'll draw a few lines just to kind of give it the idea that there's, you know what a tree bark looks like. Not going to go into super detail, because as things move far away from you, do you see as much detail? No, that's part of perspective. Okay, we're going to draw one last tree way back here. Same type of idea. We're going to start out with the 2 curved lines. Now, have our curved lines stayed the same as we've drawn this? No, they've shrunk. So make sure you're shrinking your lines too. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit more so that it doesn't look like I'm drawing crooked for you guys. Okay, we're still going to draw down here that little one just to kind of get some variety. This time though, I'm not going to take it to the right, or sorry, to the left. I'm going to take it to the right and kind of shove it back in there. Connect that one over, connect that one over. Give it a little bit of a V, and then let's make them look like broccoli again, because that's what they're looking like to me today. I'm going to give a little bit of a piece right there, just to give the idea that it's there. And then now I'm going to take my skinny eraser and erase inside. Now, do I see many lines on this one? No, because it's super far away. Can I erase this line here? Yes, now you can. Can I erase this line here? Yes, now you can. Can I erase these two lines? No, you can't. We're going to draw a sidewalk. If you erase them, we cannot draw a sidewalk. So right now you have 3 trees, 2 stores. Remember, you should have paused if you needed to stop and draw with me. Okay. Oh, we forgot to erase the line on our store side. This line right here. Not the bottom one, but the second one. Can you erase it? Yes. Need my little eraser to do that one. And if you accidentally erase your bottom line, that's okay. Draw it back in. Okay, I need my sharpener because my pencil's getting a little dull. Okay, next we're going to draw our sidewalk. We're going to draw our sidewalk in 2 ways, because our sidewalk has 2 surfaces. The top part where you walk and the part that goes down into the road. So take your ruler or your straight edge of your notebook. You're going to line it up with the vanishing point. You want to come over quite a ways. Well, not quite a ways, at least a ways, so that you can have a sidewalk. And then come over from that sidewalk just a little bit further. You're going to draw me 2 lines. Oops. I got ruler wiggle. It happens. There we go. Okay, we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Going to come over a little bit. Over a little bit more. Now, we are going to draw first our lines on these 2 surfaces. And when we do that, we're going to draw them at the same time, because that means we only have to draw them once. You don't have to go back and line things up. Now, as we get closer to our vanishing point, our boxes for the top of our sidewalk are going to get smaller. So our biggest one is going to be down here at the bottom. And I'm actually going to draw it as if it's off the paper. So I'm going to line the ruler up, part of my ruler up with the bottom of my paper. We'll do it this way. That way you can see. Lining my ruler up a little bit off the paper. Drawing one side that you can't see because my arm was blocking. Sorry guys. Draw the other side. I drew my first line right here. Okay, now I'm going to move it back. Make sure your ruler's lined up with the edge of your paper, otherwise you're going to get a wiggly, wonky line. It's going to look like this on your paper. That's not going to look right. So make sure you line your paper up. Draw your horizontal lines. Now, these first couple all look to be about the same, or around the same, which is fine. I'm going to actually switch sides of my ruler now, just simply because I want to be able to see how far I'm going up. So these are my first 3 lines. Now notice this one is a little bigger than this one, so my next one's going to need to be a little smaller. Nope, that's not. I don't like that one. If you don't like it, erase it. Line your paper up. Make sure you like where you're lining it up at. If you don't, move it so it looks better, so you like it more. There you go, that looks a little better. Okay, my next one's going to be a little bit smaller. Lining my paper up, lining my edges up. Okay, we're going to go super small now. Not really. It's just going to look super small all of a sudden because it's getting further away from us. Make sure you line your ruler up before you draw. Line your ruler up before you draw. Little itty bitty lines way back here. Little itty bitty lines, because they are far, far away. Okay, there we go. Now comes the side part. And this is actually really easy. You're going to start by lining your paper up with the bottom of your ruler. So line my paper up with the bottom of my ruler. And I'm going to line it up with that first line I drew. And I'm going to draw straight down. Then I'm going to move my paper because my ruler's in a good spot right now. And draw straight down. I am double checking though as I move it that my paper lines up with the bottom of my ruler so that it comes straight down and doesn't go sideways. Because if it goes sideways it doesn't look right. Vertical. I'm just going to keep going over nice and slow. Making sure I'm lined up at the bottom. Making sure I'm lining up with the edge of my sidewalk. Moving my paper. Sometimes it is easier to move your paper than the ruler. Sometimes it's easier to move the ruler than your paper. It just kind of depends on what the situation is. So just drawing all of those verticals. And then we're going to go do the same on the other side. Now, once you get way, way, way back here, sometimes those vertical lines don't quite line up very well. Do your best. If you have a mechanical pencil, now is a great time to use that mechanical pencil. Mine is missing. I think one of my children took it. And yeah, I only have one at home because the rest of them are all at school. Okay, so I finished all of them. So I'm going to do the same thing on the left side now. Gonna line it up. I'm gonna draw my verticals. My paper keeps running into my erasers and doesn't want to move quite right. Okay, drawing that vertical down. I'm gonna scoot it over. Line it back up. Draw that vertical. Scoot it over, line it back up, draw that vertical. Scoot it over, line it back up, draw that vertical. Oh, I didn't quite get it over far enough. There we go. Keep on working your way across your paper. Lining them up. I actually keep moving my paper a little bit because I'm trying to see my horizon line through my paper, or through my ruler. And then my paper moves, and all of a sudden it moves too much. And then I have to fix it. Okay, so I'm getting down to my last few way, way, way back here by my vanishing point. Okay, and there you have it. There is your stores, 2 stores, 3 trees at the park across the street. Your sidewalk that goes back. Now, if you want, you can line your ruler up vertical again. And you can draw a straight line down the middle of your street, or a dotted line down the middle of your street, so your street is now a 2-way street. Or at least 2 lanes. Doesn't necessarily mean it's 2 ways. In your sky, you can draw a sun. You can draw some clouds. You can draw a rainbow. You can draw an alien spaceship landing if you would like. Be creative. Have fun with it. If you want to draw a sun, go for it. Draw some clouds if you want. Remember, clouds that are further away, are they going to be as big? No. Now, remember, way back here, that's still the ground. So can I draw that cloud way down there? Yeah, still fits. I'm not going to draw a cloud behind my trees, otherwise I'm going to think it's a part of my tree and I'll forget. Okay, next. After you've done your sky, you're going to color it. I can't wait to see how you color it. Color it with markers, color it with colored pencils. Color crayons are a little bit more challenging because you're doing some smaller spaces. Color with what you have. And I know this was a long video, but you guys hung out with me through it all, and that's awesome. Hopefully you paused it as you needed to, and I will see you guys in Zoom. Talk to you soon. Bye.